My name is Holly Myers. I am 32 years old, and I work as a geologist in Denver, Colorado. 3 months ago, my parents sold my grandfather's ranch in Enid, Oklahoma, for $620,000. They split the money with my brother Garrett. They told me Grandpa didn't leave a will. They told me there was nothing left for me. What they didn't check, what none of them thought to check, was what was underneath that land. Because my grandfather did leave a will. And in that will, he separated one thing from the property before he died: the mineral rights. He left them to me. Only me. The geological survey came back at $4.7 million. Lithium. Sitting right below the ranch my parents thought they sold. Here is how a $620,000 betrayal turned into a $4.7 million inheritance. Welcome back to Calm Drama Stories. This is the channel where everyday people find the courage to stand up for what is theirs, not with anger, but with principle and proof. If you have ever been cut out by the people who were supposed to protect you, this story is for you. Drop a comment and be sure to subscribe. The ranch sat 11 miles south of Enid on a 2-lane road that smelled like cut wheat in summer and iron in winter. 200 acres, red clay soil, a creek that dried up in August and ran muddy in April. A barn that leaned slightly east, same direction as the wind. My grandfather Cal Myers built that place from nothing, bought the first 80 acres in 1971 with money he saved driving grain trucks, added the rest over 40 years of quiet, steady work. He never took a vacation. He never bought a new truck when the old one still ran. He put every spare dollar into the land. I spent every summer there from the time I was 6 until I left for college at 18. Most kids would have been bored. Flat ground, no neighbors for a mile, nothing but sky and dirt. But Grandpa Cal made the dirt interesting. He would crouch down in the field, scoop up a handful of red clay, and hold it out to me. See this, Holly girl? Most people look at dirt and see nothing, but there is a whole world under here. I would dig my fingers into the soil until the red packed under my fingernails. I loved that. The stain lasted for days. My brother Garrett played football in the yard. My parents praised his spiral. I sat with Grandpa and sorted rocks by color and grain size. My parents rolled their eyes. "She is going to be a scientist," Grandpa told my mother once at dinner. My mother laughed. "She is going to be difficult." Grandpa Cal died on a Tuesday in March. By Friday, my parents were already making plans. The funeral was on a Saturday. 70 people in a church that seated 90. Grandpa Cal knew everyone in Garfield County, and most of them showed up wearing boots and pressed shirts. I almost missed it. My mother called me on Thursday night, 2 days before the service. I was on a project site in western Colorado, 3 hours from the nearest airport. She said she forgot. She said things had been hectic. She said it like she was telling me the grocery store was out of milk. I drove through the night, caught a 6:15 flight out of Grand Junction, landed in Oklahoma City, rented a car, and made it to the church 14 minutes after the service started. My mother did not save me a seat. After the burial, the family gathered at the ranch. I walked through the house while everyone else ate casserole in the yard. Grandpa's bedroom smelled like cedar and pipe tobacco. His desk was clean, too clean. There used to be a small cedar box on the right corner. Dark wood, brass latch, barely bigger than a cigar box. He kept it locked for as long as I could remember. The box was gone. I found my mother in the kitchen. "Where is Grandpa's cedar box? The one from his desk." She waved a hand without looking at me. "Just old junk. Your father threw it out." I looked at her face. She was lying. I had seen that exact expression 1,000 times, chin slightly lifted, eyes focused somewhere past my left ear. In the hallway, Garrett grabbed my arm. "Don't make this about you, Holly. Just let Mom grieve." I pulled my arm free and said nothing. "Let me tell you about the Myers family, because you need to understand the pattern before you understand the betrayal. There were 2 children. Garrett, the oldest at 35, me, 3 years younger. To my parents, Garrett was proof that they had done something right. He played football. He stayed in Enid after high school. He married a girl from church. He worked at the farm supply store until it closed, then started a landscaping business that never quite turned a profit. None of that mattered. Garrett stayed. That was the currency in our house. I was the problem. I asked too many questions. I read books that nobody else in the family had heard of. I applied for scholarships without telling anyone because I knew my mother would say I was being dramatic. I got into the University of Oklahoma on a full academic ride. My mother's response, "Well, I hope you are happy, because your father and I certainly are not going to pay for it." I had not asked them to. My father signed whatever my mother put in front of him. He always had. Dale Myers was a man who believed that silence was the same as peace. He sat in his recliner, watched the Weather Channel, and let Brenda run the family like a corporation where she was the only executive. I used to call home on the old kitchen landline, a wall-mounted phone with a curly cord that my grandfather had installed in 1983. My mother would answer, talk for 40 seconds about Garrett's football game or Garrett's new truck or Garrett's wife's pregnancy, then say she had to go. "You left, Holly. Garrett stayed." That was my father's explanation for everything, a single sentence he delivered like a closing argument. I did not know yet what they were planning, but I should have seen it coming. 3 weeks after the funeral, my phone rang at 7:42 in the morning. Denver time. My mother never accounted for the time difference. "Holly, I need to tell you something about your grandfather's estate." I set my coffee down. "Okay." "Your grandfather didn't leave a will, Holly. There's nothing for you." She said it flat, like reading a receipt. "The ranch is going to be sold. Your father and I need the money. Our roof has been leaking for 2 years and we cannot afford to fix it. Garrett needs the money. His business has been struggling and he has the kids to think about. You have your fancy job in Denver. You will be fine." I stared at the wall of my apartment. A framed geological map of Colorado, a bookshelf full of field manuals, the life I built without a dollar from them. "Shouldn't we all discuss this?" I said. "Garrett and I are his grandchildren. The ranch was Grandpa's life." "There is nothing to discuss. You are not here. You have not been here for years." I pressed my thumb into the edge of the counter until it hurt. Not because I was sad, because I knew, with the certainty of someone who has read soil samples for 10 years, that something was wrong. My grandfather was meticulous. He labeled every jar in his workshop. He kept receipts in a shoebox sorted by month and year since 1978. He filed his own taxes until he was 80. A man like that does not die without a will. "Okay, Mom," I said. "Thank you for letting me know." I hung up. I sat in my Denver apartment for 45 minutes without moving. Then I opened my laptop and searched the Garfield County Public Records database. It took me 11 minutes to find the listing. 200 acres, Garfield County, Oklahoma. Farmhouse, barn, creek frontage, well water. Listed at $620,000. The listing had been active for 6 days. I pulled comparable sales for the area. 200 acres of agricultural land in Garfield County averaged $750,000 to $850,000, depending on water access and outbuildings. My parents had priced it nearly $200,000 below market value. They wanted it gone fast. Before anyone could ask questions, I called Garrett. "Did Grandpa really not leave a will?" His voice went tight. "Mom said no. Why are you always like this, Holly? Why do you always have to make things complicated?" "I am asking a question, Garrett. Mom handled the estate stuff. Talk to her if you have a problem." I hung up and went back to the listing. Something in the fine print caught my eye. 2 words under the property details section, in a font so small it was almost a footnote. Surface rights only. I read those 2 words 3 times, then a 4th time. Then I leaned back in my chair and stared at the ceiling. In my line of work, surface rights only means one specific thing. It means someone, at some point, separated the mineral rights from the surface rights. Whoever buys that property gets the house, the barn, the fields, the creek. They get everything you can see. They do not get a single grain of what is underneath. My father texted me that night. "Your mother told me you called Garrett asking questions. Let it go, Holly. You left. Garrett stayed. That is just how it is. I did not reply. I was too busy reading Oklahoma mineral law. The next morning, I pulled the county filing. It cost $8 through the online portal and took 4 minutes to download. Affidavit of heirship. Filed by Dale Myers and Brenda Myers, 11 days after my grandfather's death. The document stated 3 things. 1. Calvin James Myers died intestate, without a valid will. 2. The sole heirs were Dale Myers, son, and his 2 children, Garrett Myers and